What's up, everybody? This is Bill, and this is Talking with Bill Mack, here to bring another audio clip and rant, as usually I tend to do more often today. Why? I guess because sometimes things just kind of tick me off, or I just wonder about some things, and sometimes I just decide out of the blue to do an audio clip. So this one, as usual, is one just popped on the mind and come to mind. And today's topic is cell phones, and many different things about cell phones that's kind of weird to me. First of all, I wonder cell phones. I remember back in the 80s and the 90s, back when you had those Zach Morris telephones, and you had them, and they were about the size of bricks, with those gray phones with the long cords that were just as long as the antenna, which is just as long as the phone was, but it was still practical. And I remember one of the first cell phones I got, before they come out with all these smartphones, where you had the numbers and the digits, and you had to type it in and type the codes in, because you evolve up through time with phones. How, used to, people had pagers, and you would just page somebody and say, hey, this is the number to call back this number, and then somebody go and get a phone and then call the phone number back and answer it. Then it evolved up to where you get these cell phones, and then text messaging became an option. Well, hey, no longer do you really need a beeper. You can just text a person, the message. And, that was a great feature to have, which is one of the most used features, I think, of phones today, rather than, more so than talking, because sometimes you can be in positions or spots to where you're not able to talk on the phone. You may be in class or at work or, wherever, and, and it's always good that you're able to have text messaging, because sometimes you just really can't be on the phone, which is a good thing to have. It's silent. You can get your point across. The only problem with that is that sometimes if you don't put certain words in your messages, they can be totally misunderstood. Like for me, for instance, if I'm trying to make a joke, I always put LOL in there. LOL, laugh out loud, or laugh my butt off, LMBO. And you have to make sure people see that, so they'll take that as a joke. Because you can't be, if you're a sarcastic person, you can't be sarcastic texting a message, because people are going to think you're a smart ass, or you're serious, and then things can pretty much get out of source with that. So never try to be sarcastic on a cell phone, no. But that's one of the things when you're texting that can possibly happen without the proper words usage in your text messages. But, it's not so much as a text and I have a problem with. It's just, for one thing, is signal. I think the biggest problem with cell phones is signal. I mean, you've seen how many years now, and I'm very grateful for, all the signal that you're able to get when you can get it. But you would think as many phone companies as there are, both contract and pay per month, phones, straight talk phones, T-Mobile, stuff like that, the towers there would be more towers, and it would be more convenient. But as you can see and tell out there in the world, there's still a lot of dead zones, and there's nothing more aggravating than trying to go about or go somewhere, or just be in an area where there's no signal. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, what happens if you get into an emergency, or you need to make a phone call, or you need to try to get up with someone, and you're in one of those areas, and if you're one of those areas that doesn't have a signal, then you're just SOL. I mean, you cannot do it. There's no way of getting out. Trust me, I've tried. So that's just one of the things, too. It really just aggravates me, And another thing, in addition to phones, also along with this, is these new smartphones that they have out, And my whole bickering about phones and the size kind of elevates up. You had the Zach Morris phone, and then new technology came out, and then you're supposed to have the cell phones that are small. They make them small and compact. They're like, hey, we want you to be able to put them in your pocket. We don't want it to be a distraction like these big brick phones that you have. So we're going to make them smaller, more compact to fit in the size of your hand. And that way, it'll be a lot easier for you to be able to carry them around and whatever, And that was a great idea for the longest. And that was one of the first phones I ever got was, I think it was an LG, I think it was LG 3200 was a phone. It was just a basic small flip phone. I think I got it back in 2001, I think is what year I got it when I got my first phone. And, I was just so glad to get one, because at that point they weren't as easily to get. So I had to kind of, like some people had to do, and put down a down payment and get one through Verizon. But, I didn't care because I knew I would get the money back. It wasn't as high as it used to be. So I'm like, why not? Why not I join the digital age? Why don't I myself go ahead and get a cell phone as well, And I did. And I was very happy about that too, because just for in case some emergencies happen or friends or family, needed to get up with me, I had one. And I was glad to have that. But, as in time went on, then the technology started picking back up again. And then people were all of a sudden, well, now that they're small, but you know what? We want you to have more options on your phone. I guess somebody decided that your phone has to be like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to having so many different functions on it. So they're not happy with you just having a phone to talk and to text, but one that you basically have to talk, text, watch TV, read, write, calculate, and do everything that there is to do with all that stuff isn't so bad, but it's just that as they started wanting to create more technology, they wanted to try and add all these things like applications, and it just became, as they became bigger and the apps and stuff and technology became more advanced, guess what? The size of the phone had to be bigger too, to withhold not only the phones, because they went from being your phone to being a computer, to being a camera, to being a video camera, to being a flashlight, to being so much of these different things that's out there in today's world, today's technology. It's all about advancing technology, and it's just the fact that, to me, there's too much technology with them, because to me, your phone was supposed to be for you to use your phone. Because you look at today's world, you see so many accidents with people dying while they're texting, while they're trying to, to do whatever with these phones. You see these cars now with Bluetooth devices, which I'm not against Bluetooth. I think Bluetooth is a very big help to having a cell phone. But these smartphones, they have so much on them, and you're like, really? Does a phone really need that much? Do you have to go and have all these things added on to it? Does a phone really need a camcorder? Does it really need, all these things? So I don't get that. And to me, it just disappoints me to see all these things, because so many accidents have happened and things crashes and wrecks over the years due to the fact of this technology, that is basically, that comes with having a smartphone. But, signal is an important thing, and when having apps, you got to have a signal. Mostly it's a Wi-Fi signal. So unless you're in an area where there's Wi-Fi, and unless you're in an area that has an antenna or a tower somewhere for you to pick up a signal, those apps mean nothing to you. I mean, I've even gotten lost one time because I tried to use my app that's a map on my phone to lead me to, to get back on the proper directions I needed to go. I had to reroute. When I got out of the signal, I lost it. And was that map any good anymore without that signal? No, it wasn't. Why? Because you know how your computer likes to buffer, and sometimes when it's spinning that little circle waiting for it to load, That's what you get when you have that. And it's very sad to see and very sad to know that your phone, when you leave that area and you don't have a signal, then it's showing that, and it's a very, very big disappointment. And to me, is like, I'm sitting here, like, if I'm, trying to get directions and trying to follow the map, and it's a very frustrating thing when your signal no longer works. Or if you're in an area where, it's a town, and it'll show you there's no signal, and you're like, how is there no signal here? How am I not getting a signal through if I'm in town? I mean, wouldn't you think that you would at least get a cell phone signal through while you're in town? I mean, I can understand being out in the woods, even though, as my earlier point is, why don't we have signals, why have the towers more outspread? Because more Americans, more people in the world are using cell phones now. So you would figure those towers should be everywhere, just as I guess, just as much as trash cans are in people's yards. That's how often and how close they should have them, so that no matter where you're at, whether you're in the woods or whether you're in town, that you at least get that signal, because that does help. But a lot of these technology relies on signal, and when you don't have it, that's where you run into a problem with. And that's a problem I have, and that's a problem for my rant tonight, is why don't we have more towers? Why can't we get better signal when you have all these millions, if not billion, of people that are out there that need these and rely on these signals for these apps? Because that's the only way they work, people. It's the only way they work. I myself personally listen to podcasts, and I listen to podcasts, and what I 9 times out of 10 is, while I'm at home, I'll have to download it first, so that, while I'm, wherever I'm at, I can at least play it, because you can't stream it straight right then and straight, because it relies on a signal, which is very confusing. So it's just aggravating to me while we have, and I'm not at all against advancement in technology. Like I said, and I've made videos and stuff on PlayStations, talked about different electronic things, even these very things we have now. I'm very thankful for. Don't think that I'm not. It's just the fact that we have to end up basically without signal. And it hurts the usage of the apps, because without that signal, they're non-responsive. You can't use them, and then you have to rely and hope that you're able to use it again, that you find a signal soon, that you're able to use it so that you can use your phone again. Your phone becomes relevant again. So it's just aggravating to me. I'd rather to have a phone just for a phone, back the way they used to do it, and which I know you say, Bill, they have tablets. Well, you're absolutely right. But when you're putting all this information on phones, portable hands, in your portable applications in your hands, that's where you run into the problems. I can understand if this kind of information, information was in on a tablet. Tablets are awesome. Tablets should be what that information is stored on, and not necessarily a phone, because pretty soon there's going to be so much technology that your phone's going to do everything but talk. That's just what it's going to do. As it's going to end up basically being something that you're not going to be able to talk on, but it'll do everything else, which is very sad, but that's also the truth. I don't think I'm stretching that, analogy at all. I just feel like that's what's going to happen. But anyway, I just hope that they try and, maybe get a better signal, increase the number of towers that are around, so that people are actually able to go anywhere at any point in time, and have a tablet, or have a signal for a tablet or a cell phone, so that the apps on your phone don't become useless, because that's just what they do if you don't have it. So, I know that can be, I know I'm not the only one that's aggravated with this. I know I'm not the only one that deals with this, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of people have these same issues themselves, as well as I do. But, I just felt like it was something important to talk about, and I hope that others can relate that listen to this, and, just hope that we can, our technology can help us to increase and grow with these towers, with this signal, because it sure will be a bigger help if we get more assistance with that. Every company is always the biggest provider in this, the largest provider in that, the stronger provider in that. But why can't y'all come together and be more reliable, be the biggest, largest, strongest, whatever? And, when Americans are using your services, why can't you all just pull your heads together and basically help each other out to help your users out, help the people that are giving you money to use the services? But that's just me, but that's just me rambling as usual. But I just hope everyone got something out of it. Sorry, that it carried on a little bit, but as you know me, when I get something on my mind, this is the quickest way to get it to handle. So just hope they get better with technology, and hope they get better with signal, and hope that we can increase communications better. So until next time, everyone, this is Bill Mack, and you're talking with Bill Mack, and everyone take care. And this is Bill Mack signing off.